Hey there! Today we're going to be looking at a mod called Waypoint Manager. Now if you've played career mode in KSP, you've definitely stumbled across the annoyance that this mod was built to address. When you get a location-based contract in vanilla KSP, like those take a pressure reading here or take a soil sample there, the game only renders those little contract location tags in the map view. Now this is fine for getting a rough location from orbit, but when you're actually piloting your vehicle in pursuit of those contracts, it's very annoying to have to keep switching back and forth to the map view just to see how close you are to being on target. Waypoint Manager makes a very simple yet very effective change to this mechanic. It renders those little tags in flight mode so you can see them on screen, and it also provides some additional information such as distance to the waypoint and estimated time of arrival. So before we go in game to demonstrate this mod, let's do a quick CKAN install. Okay, so let's fire up CKAN. And what we're going to do is use the filter to search for waypoint. And there you can see Waypoint Manager. Let's have a quick look at the Relationships tab, make sure there's no dependencies or conflicts that we need to be aware of. Everything seems to be clean there. So let us go ahead and install. So there you go. You can now see Waypoint Manager installed with the rest of our mods that we've done in the series so far. So let's go in game and check out Waypoint Manager. Okay, since Waypoint Manager is all about location contracts, I want to take you into the mission control building here and show you what we have available. So we actually have two active location contracts right now for doing atmospheric scans. So they're both set and ready to go. So we should be able to use those to demonstrate the Waypoint Manager functionality. So what we want to do is go into the space plane hangar. Let's get ourselves a plane, launch it, and have a look at Waypoint Manager. Okay, to save a little time here, I have created an airplane offline, which I'll load up here now. A simple little aircraft, as you can see, more than sufficient though to demonstrate waypoint functionality. So let's launch. Okay, so before we launch, I just want to draw your attention to the new icon in the toolbar. We have the Waypoint Manager icon here, and when you select it, you get the Waypoint Manager window. So we're going to go over this in detail shortly, but first I want to get us launched and start our ascent, and then we can talk about the differences between the stock mechanic and the Waypoint Manager as it relates to contract waypoints. So let's turn on SAS, fire up the engines. Of course, as a relatively small and light vessel with a couple of the ramjet engines attached, we are going to be able to get off the runway here in very short order. Get a fairly reasonable ascent angle here. Okay, so as you guys know, contract waypoints in stock KSP are accessed through the map view. So if we go into our map view, we find the particular waypoints that we're interested in, we select them, and you can say activate navigation. Now what that does, and in fact the only thing that does, is it puts a heading indicator here on your nav ball. So you can line that indicator up with your prograde vector, and you'll know that you're on the right angle and the right heading to intercept that waypoint. What you don't know is you don't know how far away it is, you don't know its relative position in terms of altitude, you don't have any other information really other than that heading. So let's turn this back off and go back into the flight mode and look at what Waypoint Manager brings to the table. Alright, so I'm just going to level off a bit here and back the throttle down a little bit. Now let's have a look at the Waypoint Manager screen. So what we see are the contract waypoints associated with the active contracts. Now these can be grouped by contract or celestial body. And when you select one of these, what you're doing is the exact same thing as what we just did in the map view when we did an activate navigation. So if we turn on DT43 here, you can see it did put the heading indicator back in the nav ball just like stock, but in addition it brings on to this view the map marker, so it renders that right here, and that I find a lot more intuitive. Sure, you can line up your prograde with the heading indicator here, but just to have it on screen, it's just a lot more obvious. And it also provides the additional helpful information of the distance and the ETA. Of course, ETA is based on your current speed, but having the distance there in particular is very helpful because you're not wondering, how soon am I going to be there? How quickly do I have to adjust my altitude? Concerns that you have when you only have a heading indicator to go by. So overall, it adds a little bit of intuitiveness to going after these waypoints, and I think it makes contract satisfaction a little bit easier to achieve. So there's also some additional information that we can configure here with Waypoint Manager. So if you open up the settings, the distance calculation can be lateral, straight line, or compromise, and there are tool tips associated with each one when you mouse over, which is very nice. The waypoints to display in flight can be all, only the active waypoints, or none at all. Now the values to display below altimeter, as you can see, the distance and ETA are by default turned on, but you can also turn on the heading indicator as well as glide slope angles. So you can get a fair bit of information to help you navigate right to that waypoint. In addition, you can turn off the icon in the toolbar, and you can alter the opacity of the map markers themselves. And then lastly, you have import and export waypoints, which we'll talk about now. Custom waypoints can be created by using this button right here. And when you select it, it brings up a little menu which allows you to obviously name that custom waypoint. You can type in a specific geographic location and altitude yourself, or you can simply use the active vessel location, and that would be particularly useful if you were using a rover or something on the ground and you wanted to return to that same site in the future, instead of having to write down on a piece of paper the location. You just create a custom waypoint here. In addition, it allows you to change the icon and as well as the color of that icon. So that's about it for custom waypoints, a nice little additional feature to this mod. So that, in a nutshell, is Waypoint Manager. Another beautifully simple mod which tweaks and improves a stock KSP gameplay mechanic. I recommend you add this mod to your install because I guarantee it'll make your contract chasing more enjoyable. So that's a wrap for today, guys. Enjoy Waypoint Manager, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care.